I don't have anything fancy equipment. I don't have fancy cooking utensils. I don't have a state-of-the-art stove. I don't even have top-of-the-line ingredients. What I have is regular stuff that I, a regular guy, can use to make what I hope will be delicious foods. In our very first installment, this is our very first episode, we are making 3-meat lasagna. The 3-meat lasagna is going to have a base of spaghetti sauce. We just use this stuff, spaghetti sauce. In the spaghetti sauce, we put some chunky blue cheese. We also put the Italian-style 6-cheese blend and the Colby Jack. Poured it into the bowl, stirred it in there, and put some cornstarch in to help it thicken as the sauce cools after the lasagna is cooked. Now, we're frying up bacon, we're frying up the hamburger, and we've got a pillow pack of pepperoni. So what we're going to do after we have all the meats ready is dump them into the bowl, and then we'll lay out our lasagna pan and cook it. In the meat, to season the meat, because a seasoned meat is a very important ingredient in anything meat-based, which is almost exclusively what we're going to do here because we're meat guys. I use Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. I use Lowry's. I use the Mrs. Dash Original Blend, some black pepper, and a little bit of garlic. A little bit of garlic. That's important too. Don't use too much. This stuff comes out crazy fast. Be careful with it. And then we also throw some cottage cheese in there. So once this is all cooked, we'll dump it in the bowl, we'll stir it up, we'll set up our pan. Now when it comes to our bacon, we're going to want it to be in small enough pieces so it's sort of crumbly when we put it into our mixture. So what I've got is one of these things. This is a Pampered Chef brand slap chopper deal. I don't know what the exact name of it is, but you just put the meat here in the base. And this is something you can have one of your kids do because it's kind of fun. You put it in there, and then you just slap the snot out of it. We'll do that, get all of our bacon in small enough pieces, put it in our bowl of mix. We got the pillow pack of pepperoni. That's what's going to go in next. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it and cut it into 4 pieces. So cut it across halfway, cut it across halfway again, and then we're going to throw that in our bowl of mix. So now we have everything in the bowl. We've got all 3 meats in there, the bacon, the pepperoni, and the beef. And we have our sauce. Our base is the Ragu Old World style, flavored with meat spaghetti sauce. The meat has been seasoned, the beef has been. Of course, we also put our cheeses in there, the blue cheese and the 6-cheese mix, Colby Jack. Put the cornstarch in there to help the sauce thicken up as the lasagna cools. Now we just stir a little bit, make sure it all gets mixed in. And while we're doing this, we're also going to have the noodles boiling. Now another thing we have to do before we get the noodles in here is to make sure that the pan is greased. So we just put a little bit of vegetable oil at the bottom, take a napkin, wipe it around to make sure that the entire base inside of the pan is covered with the vegetable oil so the noodles don't stick. So we're using this kind of lasagna. Water is boiling. We're going to dump the noodles in. We're going to boil them for 8 minutes. You got to get them all in the bowl, the pot. There we go. 8 minutes from now, we'll drain these and then we'll lay them out in the pan. Noodles in, and then we're going to put some of the mixture in, more noodles, more mixture, more noodles, top it off with a layer of cheese. We're not going to show you every single step of that process because you just want to know how to make the food. We don't need to show you everything. It is important that you wash your hands before you do stuff like this though, because you're going to be handling food that other people are going to be eating. So get your boiled lasagna noodles and just make a nice flat bed of them in the bottom of the pan. You can layer them if you want to. You can stack them if you want to. It's entirely up to you. We here at The Mediocre Chef don't believe in strict adherence to recipes. So just lay it out like this, and then we're going to pour a little bit of the mixture on, and then we're going to put another layer on. This is the very bottom of the lasagna in the pan, just 3 strips wide for this particular pan. Here is our mix for our loaded lasagna. This is the sauce, the cheeses, and the 3 different meats. Just going to take this ladle and ladle it in here until we have a nice layer of the meat mix, and then we'll put another layer of noodles on top of that. Noodles, a layer of the meat mix, another layer of noodles, another layer of meat mix, a third layer of noodles, topped it off with the meat mix, and then a pile of cheese. We've got the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and what we're going to do next is wrap this in tin foil and put it in the oven for 1.5 hours. Now, I know what you're thinking. You didn't use all of that meat mix in that lasagna. That's true. We didn't. We didn't even use all of the noodles. But this is where the economical aspect of the mediocre chef comes in. We take these noodles, we tear them up a little bit into pieces, throw them in our leftover meat mix. We have hot dish to make for tomorrow's lunch. So again, you don't need anything fancy to make this stuff. We don't even know how it tastes. We're just making it up as we go. We're calling this one Loaded Lasagna. Here's what we put in it. For starters, we've got our ground beef. We've flavored the ground beef with this array of seasonings right here. We start with the Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce, some of the original Mrs. Dash, some Lowry's, some garlic powder, and some black pepper. You brown the hamburger in a skillet. While you're doing that, you can fry up some bacon. Choose your favorite bacon, whether that's apple smoked or hickory smoked or low sodium or whatever. Whatever your favorite kind of bacon is, fry that in a separate pan, and then take your pepperoni and cut that into 4 pieces. Each slice of pepperoni in 4 pieces. Mix that into a bowl with the spaghetti sauce, and this time we're going with this ragu flavored with meat spaghetti sauce. And then we put some chunky blue cheese, and these cheeses, we went with the Colby Jack this time, and this Italian 6-cheese blend, which has mozzarella. What else does it have in there? Oh, provolone, Asiago, Parmesan Romano, and Fontina. So we got a wide variety of cheeses. We dump the cottage cheese in that bowl also and stir it up. Then what we do while the meat and everything is cooking is we just sort of let that simmer together. Put a little bit of cornstarch in there to help it thicken up as the meat cools once we take the lasagna out of the oven. We also have our slap chopper. That's how we get our bacon into finer pieces, much smaller. Mix that into the bowl. And then we took our pan and we put a layer of noodles like this. Layer of meat, layer of noodles, layer of meat, layer of noodles. Topped it off with another small layer of meat and then more of these cheeses. When you go to serve it, you'll cut it into little squares and give the people Parmesan cheese if they want to put on it. Before you put the noodles in, it's important to remember to grease the pan. That's what the vegetable oil is for. Again, nothing fancy. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to prepare all of this stuff. You can get it at any local grocery store and then cook it for 1.5 hours. You're set. 350 degrees in the oven, foil on top. 1.5 hours from now, we will take it out. We'll take a look at it, and we'll get our taste tester to try it out. It's been 1.5 hours. We've had the loaded lasagna in the oven at 350 degrees for the entire 1.5 hours, covered with tin foil. I put it on this baking stone because sometimes the sauces spill over, and this way it catches them and it doesn't let them get to the bottom of your oven, and that later would smell really bad and create a lot of smoke. So, on the baking stone to catch the spillage. We're going to peel this back, and remember this is hot. You get our first look at our loaded lasagna. Look at that.
That's a lot.
That looks pretty saucy. Alright, so this is the tricky part. The first piece is always ugly. We're going to try. Jalen just wants a little bit, so I'm going to take our knife and cut a little bit. Alright, now this is going to be really fun to try to get this out of there. Alright, now remember that the sauce will cool, or will thicken rather, as the lasagna cools. There you go. Alright, give it a shot. Tell us what you think. Make sure you blow on it. It is still hot. Well, what do you think?
2.5 mermaid tails.
2.5? That's not fair.